Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about BB7 All-Stars, shall we?
We shall. It's the third eviction. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, there is a link in the description. Guys, George licks his lips in the most disgusting way I have ever seen.
David is real bothered by this.
I can't. We'll get to it, but it's so gross.
So gross. Okay, but we start with Jase and Will still in their nominee seats from after veto.
Yeah.
And Jase would like to make it clear that he hates everyone as well.
Yes, he's got something to say, and he's saying, you're all the worst, and this is not my show. I should have been cast on Survivor.
It's not my genre, is what he said.
Are you pronouncing that like Alex Trebek?
Am I? Yeah, no, that's the official way. Genre.
Yeah, there's
that's
like a
how
video of
you're
Alex
supposed
Trebek, like a super
to
cut,
do it.
and he doesn't like that too. So very good, Sarah.
That's the best way.
But Sarah, you did a little detective work to see if Jase was ever cast on Survivor, which was supposed to be his game, right?
I was immediately like, oh, did he play Survivor? No, I didn't find it.
No.
There are a few seasons I have not seen, but I couldn't find where he played Survivor. I did find, however, that he played BB Canada season 4.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. And David, it seems like he still has a flat iron because his hair for BB Canada 4 was equally as awful, but in a completely different way.
I must Google this immediately.
I tell everyone to Google him just to see how his hair turned out for that.
Oh my God.
These are the important things we cover. Okay.
Right.
Moving on.
But Jase is like still kind of talking to people a little bit. They're showing us like, I think the editors probably use like every last second of footage of Jase actually playing the game.
Yeah.
Trying to save himself, because I don't think there was a whole lot of it, but there is the scene where he's out on the patio with George, and Jase asks him something, and George takes a moment and he says, you know, Jase, I think you need to take a nap on it. I was like, George, what do you have on your fingers here, buddy? And can you grab a napkin instead of licking your fingers over and over again?
I thought that edit was amazing because it's like, oh, how times have changed. You know, like Jase used to be here and George was here. And George is like, oh. Like edit-wise, that was hilarious. Yeah. But I love that you were so triggered by the actual like.
I watched it like 4 times. I was like, stop it, stop.
Why are you rewatching it then? You can stop, David.
Yeah.
You can stop.
Yeah, right. But George is like, you need to like sleep on it. And, you know, I don't think you're in the right headspace. And he's right. Like Jase is all over the place, you know?
Right. He does. He needs to take a nap. He needs to calm down and circle back with everyone, which he does. But before we get into him figuring out his votes, we do see Will sort of admit that like this is all his strategy. He does want to stay. He is trying to win the game still. And these fools are falling for it. And, you know, he kind of like leaves it to Boogie to like make sure that Will has the votes. And if that means Boogie has to take a bath with Erica and Janelle, he's going to do it.
So he's going to fall on that sword, Sarah. You know?
Yeah. Thank you, Boogie, because that's exactly what I need on my television.
Oh, my God.
Pass.
Goodbye. Thank you. Don't need to see that. Then we see Jase talking in the backyard with Diane and Danielle. He's kind of saying like, I have your votes and maybe I could get, I think it's George, he says, maybe he could get George. And they're like, yeah, but that's not enough. Well, first of all, he says, how many votes do I need to stay? And I'm like, Jase, do the counting yourself. Like, come on. Like,
we always need to know
like you're playing
the numbers at all times. Yes.
Right. And so they're like,
once he gets those numbers, he realizes he has to dip into season 6. And like, that's super difficult to do, especially since they straight up told him, we want to keep Will. So we're going to vote you out before he was even in a nominee on the block.
Mm-hmm.
So he does go up to the HOH room with all of season 6 and say, like, I'm willing to make a deal and I will have to be loyal to it. Like, I'll have whatever it is that you request of me, I'm going to just have to do, which is a great, honest way to say it, because no one wants to make the deal, but it's kind of like clear, I want to stay. So what is it that you need from me?
Yep. And that's really all he can do. And you would think that when he's making a deal like this, he would maybe keep it quiet.
Oh my God.
He goes straight to Chilltown and Danielle and says, oh, I made a deal with season 6 that I would put up floaters if I win HOH. And Danielle is like, facepalm, like, what are you thinking? Like, she was kind of rooting for him. You know, we saw her in the backyard. Like, she knows that Will is a threat. And so she's probably like, if I can get Will out, that'd be great. Like, maybe I can save Jase. And then this happens and she's like, oh my God, my hands are basically tied right now. Like, you are.
Right. But also, why are you giving Will that ammunition? Like, why? Will is the other person that you are worried about at this moment. It's just between the two of you at this moment. Why would you give him the ammo of what you're doing to save yourself?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, is because Jase is really fallen for the whole Will act. I'm guessing that Will has convinced everyone so well that he doesn't want to stay. He wants to go. That Jase's like guard is completely down and giving Will all the information he needs. This is just more reason that Will is a genius. Maybe an evil genius, but a genius.
Definitely,
How these people just like fall for this stuff. So the deal was, he said he'd keep season 6 safe for a few weeks until jury sequester, whatever. And then he like just reveals that plan to everyone. And so I have to imagine what happened in reality is that Will and Boogie and maybe even Danielle went on, they got to work. They did the work to make sure that that deal doesn't happen, that season 6 doesn't want to keep Jase because they have that info. They went to work. I think the editors probably just left it out.
Yeah.
We don't really see. Yeah. We don't see anything from here forward.
I know. Yeah. The only other thing we see is Jase kind of gets into it with Marcellus, and Marcellus is like, don't freak out. Don't go crazy. People are like kind of nervous around you right now. And Jase is like, but that is ridiculous. What? Because I threw some things in the backyard. And Marcella's like, how are you not seeing this? Like, you're going crazy right now, right after I told you not to go crazy. Like, what? So Jase is just like digging his own grave. And this is kind of the extent of what we see of him trying to save his game. It's not the best look.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's up against the best. So he's in a lot of trouble. We don't see any of the votes.
No.
They, we're getting those little sound bites of like, oh, I could keep this person. I could work with, but they're not really revealing anything to us.
Yeah. And by the second time we didn't see any votes, I was like, this must be unanimous.
Right. That's when we don't see votes. Is when it's unanimous. We get a very cute Chicken George segment with his family, talking about his life and really talking about why he wants to play. It may not look like it to everybody, but he does. He wants to be there to play. Yeah.
And, the package is just all about how no one took him seriously at the beginning. He's kind of like, the goofy older guy. But then it's like, oh, he's actually here to play. And, they show these segments with, I think, James and Kaser, some people from season 6, about how he's like earned their respect. And now they're like, okay, maybe we should take Chicken George seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cute. At one point, he says, if you aren't here to play the game, you don't deserve to be here. And it's all I shout every season.
Yeah.
I'm like, just show me that you're willing to play the game. Otherwise, get the heck out of here. I don't got time for you.
That's all we're asking for.
I'd much rather you play the game horribly, make awful decisions. We can still roast you for that, but I'm going to like that better than just eating bowls of cereal.
No.
Every day. What?
Ooh, we don't even need to name names, people, because you know
No,
exactly who Sarah is talking about.
Well, no names. We also get James in the HOH talking to Julie.
Yeah, and he's saying that she's asking about these deals that he's made. He's kind of working both sides of the house a little bit. And he's saying, well, I'm more loyal still to season 6 and Danielle because, like, you just never know with Chilltown, Will and Boogie, like, they could be doing anything, you know?
Yes, and that is interesting to know. I mean, we know James is going to be, like, playing like this. Like,
yeah.
Who, where, who? But
yeah,
interesting that he's more loyal to season 6.
For people like James who are hard to read and will do anything, it's this is where these like HOH chats are fun, you know, because they're like just speaking candidly with Julie, and you really get an insight. I think even more of an insight into their game than sometimes you get in the diary room, because sometimes those diary room confessionals can feel a bit too produced. But this just feels like, oh, like I take that seriously. And that is, like you say, just interesting info. Like, okay, he actually is with season 6, because I wasn't totally sure that he wouldn't turn on them, you know, the moment that he could.
Right. Agreed. Especially because we have mixed feelings about these HOH room talks, because sometimes I'm just like, I can't handle these people talking.
I know.
But it is helpful when they actually do reveal information that you're like, oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah. Yep.
We get a segment about Will.
Sarah, something's wrong with Will. I mean, I know that this is my first time watching BB7. You know, BB hardcore fans already know everything about Will, but I'm like, this man is a sociopath. Like, he is his ex-showmance, Shannon, right? Is talking about how they were together for a while after the show.
Yeah,
and Will is actually like kind of like socially anxious, shy, doesn't like hanging around other people. And I'm like, okay, so if you're like kind of a shrinking violet in real life, and then you're going in the house and acting like a total narcissist, like something's going on in here that I don't trust.
Yeah, no, you would not be the first person who has said that or put that together.
Yeah.
He's an enigma. He is he's a something.
Yeah, he's a something.
I do love the dichotomy, though. I love they bring on his brother, who's like praising him, and then they bring on an ex who, of course, is like, yeah, no, I would not go back to him.
Yeah, right. Would not do that again.
Yeah. I just love the balance of that. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't seen any votes yet, so you and I are both speculating it's going to be unanimous. And Jase's speech to me sounded like a goodbye speech.
Yeah.
So again, I'm like, oh, he knows it's clear.
Oh, I mean, it sounded like he literally referenced like walking out the door. Like he was like, please, Danielle and Diane are the only two who are allowed to escort me to the door. And it's not even like, you know, if I get evicted, then please do me this courtesy. It's like, we all know this is happening. So like, nobody walked me to the door except these two.
Yeah. And the moment that he got just like a little choked up, I think is him saying like, he's just so upset. Like he just is so bothered by being evicted right now.
Well,
he's one of those competitor guys that just like can't handle losing, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't like to lose. And I think he's upset about the way he's losing here, but I love your insight, Sarah, because he goes out to Julie.
Yes, he goes out to Julie. He's evicted 9-0. He goes out to Julie and he's just so mad, he says, that he was backdoored. And I am like yelling at the screen that you were not backdoored. You literally got to play in veto.
And you gave up.
That was on you. Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel that he was in that much danger. So he made the choice that playing in next week's veto was more important. But then in that moment, I have to give the HOH credit for making you feel so comfortable that you didn't consider that you might be a replacement.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
you could be a replacement.
Yeah. And how many times have we heard on Big Brother people who are not on the block, but still competing for the veto? And they're saying like, the only way to secure my safety is for me to win this veto. Like, I know I'm not a nominee, but I still want to try because you never know what's going to happen. And that should have been Jase's narrative, and it just wasn't. He was comfortable.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that Kaser went farther than Jase did, and Kaser can feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. I mean, you can never really trust James, but he's more in that alliance than Jase is.
Uh-huh.
So, Jase, I know it's a bummer to go, but you weren't backdoored. You played in veto. You didn't win. I bet you he would have never shaved his head. He would have stopped.
No way. No way. He was not going to get that veto no matter what.
Yep.
But he's also just kind of like, you know, he's in a mood, right? That he's been evicted, and he's like even standoffish with Julie. Like he can't. Yeah. This probably stuck with him for like a few months. He can't like shake it off. And she's asking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and he's just being like very cagey about it and won't say one way or the other. And it's like, dude, you're not in the jury. You're not in the house anymore. Like, why are you still keeping secrets? He's just like kind of being a little bit of a brat because he's like still mad that he got evicted.
Yeah, he seems like he legitimately didn't know if he was in a pre-arranged alliance with Diane, but he also does mention right there at the end, like he hopes that he's going back into sequester to come back in the game. So maybe he's being cagey for those reasons.
That could be. He's like, you never know. Maybe I'll come back. It's an all-star season.
Right, like really hoping. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the HOH. He does get goodbye messages, but they're all just like, whatever.
They're whatever. Like some of them make him mad. Diane's and Danielle's were both nice. Who cares? Yeah. Let's move on to the HOH.
Yes.
So this one was fun because it's like words in the house. Like this is pay attention to your surroundings, right? Like study the house, memorize things. Like I love comps like this.
Yes. And it's also target other people. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Because, I mean, they do a lot of these, you know, standing at a podium, buzzing with the right answer or not. But this time, if you do get the right answer, you get to eliminate somebody else. And that just adds an extra layer of fun, in my opinion. If you get the answer wrong, you are eliminated and you're out.
Right.
So Marcellus takes out Boogie. Kaser takes out Diane. Will takes out Howie, and then of course Will takes out himself because he just needed to get one answer, and then he was like, bye-bye.
Yeah. Will is the only person who takes himself out in this entire competition. Then Erica eliminates Chicken George. Kaser eliminates Erica. Janelle eliminates Danielle, and then it's down to Janelle, Marcellus, and Kaser. And I'm like, this season 6 alliance can't quit winning, because even though Marcellus is not season 6, he's in with them now. Like we've kind of seen that he's definitely in with Janelle, and I'm like, another week of power for season 6, no matter what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, season 6 would have just moved right back into the HOH room if it was Marcellus. Yeah. Easy peasy. But it comes down to Janelle and Marcellus. Honestly, when Marcellus took out Kaser, I really thought that was like almost a Sophie's choice. He was like,
I know.
Janelle, my boy Kaser. Yeah. He was like, I don't know. But he went with his girl. Yeah. So it's down to the two of them. And then Janelle does get the right answer. So she wins.
Yeah. I thought it was like an interesting moment watching them, because I was like, who's going to buzz in first? Like, this is kind of like decision time. Do I want to win this HOH or not? Like that moment of strategy, like, is this the right time for me to win an HOH? And Janelle didn't really hesitate too much. Like she was right there. She wanted that win. Like this is the season that we know that Janelle became the comp beast. And so I'm not surprised that she's the first repeat HOH. And it's like 2 weeks removed from her first HOH. Like she just keeps winning.
Yeah, this is definitely a time where she probably could have allowed Marcellus to take it for her, because she's so connected to him that obviously she was going to be safe. But otherwise, Janelle does have to protect herself, because she knows if her group is not in power, she is more than likely at least on the block, you know?
Yeah, right.
So she kind of does have to watch her back like that. But yeah, this was probably one that Marcellus could have taken for her just to help her out with blood on her
hands. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm very curious to see what Janelle is going to do here, because she's one who has been vocal about breaking up Chilltown. And is she going to be the one to finally like pull the trigger and put the two of them side by side on the block? I hope so.
Yes, you would think she would be the one. Like, there's not a lot of other people that she would want to target. Like, she's okay with Danielle. You know, I think she was legit scared of Jase, but he's gone now. I don't think she likes Diane, but
but Diane's not really a threat to her, I don't think.
Exactly.
And like we've seen, as far as season 6 goes, like we've seen James kind of make a little bit of a deal with Chilltown. We've seen Kaser make a deal with Chilltown. Howie's obsessed with Will. So I do feel like Janelle is the most likely, because, you know, she was in the tub with Boogie, but that doesn't mean anything with Janelle. Like, she's just a flirty person, and that does not show any sign of allegiance from her. So she's kind of the only one who it feels like she is like clearly separated from them. Yeah. And I'm like, please put them up, Janelle, please.
Right. And I don't think she would believe, like, she can't make a deal with Chilltown too. Like, everyone's making a deal with, like, if she were to go make a deal with them, like, she knows she can't trust that, right? Like, she was mad that Kaser did it, you know? So, her making a deal would be surprising. So we will see. They did do a cute key throw reenactment when Janelle won. James like threw the key and was like, "You get it," just like they did in season 6.
Yeah,
for real though in season 6.
Key. Yeah,
I thought that was cute. And she was like,
Yeah.
That's just all fun throwbacks to season 6. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. Well, that's where we are with BB7.
Yes.
Our third eviction. Jase is out the door.
Out the door.
And where are they headed with this All-Stars group?
I'm excited to see.
You guys, just a little bit of business here. We are taking next week off for a summer break, July 4th, something mid-year.
Yes.
Can you believe we're at the mid of this year? I can't.
I know. Oh my God. Seriously.
So no BB7 videos next week. We will save episode 10 and 11 for the following week, that Monday after July 4th. So that's 5th. So Monday the 6th will be episodes 10 and 11, Janelle's HOH reign.
So stay tuned for that and enjoy your week off of videos from us.
Don't
not too much. Come back.
Yeah.
Come back. Don't enjoy it too much. I don't want you to have a bad time, but like maybe a little bit of a bad time.
We have plenty of videos on this channel. Pick something, go back, relive something, take a trip down memory lane, check it all out. And for our patrons, we're going to jump over in a few minutes. We'll be over on Patreon for Survivor, Heroes versus Villains. Oh my gosh, David, the merge episode.
Sarah, this season is so insane. It's so good.
One for the record books for sure. So, patrons, we will see you over there. Otherwise, everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. If you weren't here live, please leave us a comment.
Yes.
How much you love BB7 original All-Stars.
Comments help, you guys. Let us know what you're thinking.
Tell us all your thoughts about Jase and his hair.
Oh boy, and George licking its fingers. All of it.
Good one. Good one. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.